Hey guys, this is Mark, and I wanted to talk today about meltdown management in your ASD spouse. You kind of view this as some key points for neurotypical spouses. A meltdown is a condition where the person on the autism spectrum temporarily loses control due to emotional responses to environmental factors. Now, it generally appears that the person has lost control over a single and specific issue. However, this is rarely, if ever, the case. Usually the problem is an accumulation of a number of irritations which could span a fairly long period of time, particularly given the strong long-term memory abilities of people on the autism spectrum. Now, why do the problems seem hidden? Well, people on the spectrum don't tend to give a whole lot of clues that they're very irritated. The ASD individual's grievances are aired as part of their normal conversation and may even be interpreted by NTs as part of their standard complaining and negativity. Some things which annoy people on the spectrum would not be considered annoying to NTs, and this makes NTs less likely to pick up on a potential problem. The ASD spouse's facial expressions very often will not convey the irritation, and their vocal tones will often remain flat even when they're fairly annoyed. Some people on the autism spectrum describe the meltdown as a red or gray band across the eyes. There is a loss of control and the feeling of being a powerless observer outside the body. This can be risky, as the autistic individual may strike out with something that is perceived as emotional abuse, particularly if the NT is nearby when the autistic spouse is taunted during a meltdown. Oftentimes, depression is the only outward visible sign of a meltdown. At other times, depression results when the autistic spouse leaves the meltdown state and confronts the results of his meltdown. The depression is a result of guilt over abusive, shouting, or violent behavior. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do as the NT spouse when a meltdown occurs. The best thing you can do is to train yourself to recognize a meltdown before it happens and take the steps to avoid it. But once that bullet has left the gun, the best thing the NT spouse can do is to make herself absent. One of the most important things to realize is that meltdowns are part of the ASD condition. Getting upset with your autistic spouse for a meltdown is like getting upset with him for swearing when he hit his thumb with a hammer. It won't do any good whatsoever and can only serve to increase the distance between you and your autistic spouse. Also, meltdowns aren't wholly caused by the current scenario, but are usually the result of an overwhelming number of other issues. The one which causes the meltdown is the straw that breaks the camel's back. So unless you're a mind reader, you won't necessarily know what the other factors are, and your ASD spouse may not be able to fully communicate the problem.